and thanks for tuning back in here to another episode here on the Speedbug channel. Today is just a quick review of me talking a little bit obviously about the new BMW, the 2020 the S1000RR. And it's kind of like a pre-review, obviously not like a full review because the bike hasn't out yet and obviously I haven't ridden it or anything like that, but I wanted to touch base obviously on some of the highlights and stuff like that and highlight a lot of points to maybe some BMW owners that currently are out there that may have the bike and are potentially thinking about upgrading to validate the fact that is it worth the upgrade, is it not worth the upgrade, where do you see the bike, you know, really shining, where isn't it, besides the fact that it's just the new hot bike and it's the shit and it's obviously going to be the shit. So I'm not going to necessarily play it all fully here in my shoes. I want to put it into a little bit wider perspective because I kind of already made a video obviously about, hey, will I be getting one? Well, my reasons are going to be a lot different than maybe from somebody else's, and this may help them kind of, you know, decide the factor. So obviously, the new model, and a big factor with the new BMW is the fact that it does have VVT, and that is fantastic, and it's definitely something that needed to come obviously to the BMW motorcycle. So looking at the Jigster here on the stand, where this bike has VVT, it creates an enormous amount of torque down low and mid-range, where the BMW, like I said, it definitely really lacks the bottom end and semi-mid-range. It's not horrible, but it's not great. But obviously up top, it's, you know, it runs crazy. So adding that low and mid-range torque will really help, obviously, the street drivability and make it that even a little bit better all around, you know, perfect bike that it pretty much already is. Obviously, a quick, you know, bump up in horsepower with, you know, the advancement of technology. Of course, I'm sure some of the VVT will obviously contribute to that. The bike will be lighter, and based on the pictures and everything of kind of what I've seen and what I've been hearing and, you know, talking about maybe, and also some BMW reps, the bike is definitely slimmer as well. Like they were able to slim, you know, maybe a few millimeters, and I know it's not much, but, you know, every bit counts, you know, because it's couple millimeters this year, couple millimeters in the next couple years, and before you know it, I mean, if you look back at a bike, you know, 10 years ago, it doesn't matter the make, if that bike is obviously still in production, look how much slimmer and slender and, you know, more aerodynamic and how much more efficient the bike has obviously now become. So every little bit helps, and people say it's not enough. Well, one thing I will always say, BMW always tends to kind of sit back, relax, kind of a little bit like Apple. They don't always necessarily have to be the first ones out to completely reinvent the wheel, but when they do it, they're going to come out and have it perfected. So they kind of always, you know, under promise and over deliver, I like to say, because they weren't always the fastest bike or the first fastest. They were, maybe they may become the fastest or become the best, just like Apple was not the first one to create, you know, a touchscreen smartphone or anything like that, you know. And yes, you can argue or say that it's, you know, Android's better, this, that, whatever. Like, that's not what we're going after. We're going after here's that the iPhone is kind of the benchmark to what everything else has to be, or for yourself to consider yourself good. Now, even though you may be better, but you're going to use maybe the iPhone kind of as the benchmark. And it seems like in the crotch rocket world, at least in the 1000cc category, that's kind of like the benchmark bike. And if you can obviously beat that bike, fantastic. And there are a lot of bikes that are out there that are faster than it. However, it's a good benchmark bike. So a lot of the things that BMW will obviously offer and deliver with the new bike will bring it forward so that a lot of the other bikes that have already had done, such as like the R1M, and with bringing launch control and wheelie control and ABS and stuff like that. Like I said, that wasn't the first bike to have it all, but it made paths and ways for a lot of other bikes to really catch up. Obviously styling, the LED headlights and such, which was, I would definitely say a love-hate relationship, because some people really liked the asymmetrical design and some people couldn't stand it. Me personally, it didn't bother me. However, I really thought it added a good amount of character to the bike. It really lets you know when you saw that BMW in the horizon that was a BMW. That just wasn't another CBR. That just wasn't another Gixxter or ZX10 or whatever it may be. You knew that was a BMW by either how different that bike looked or how messed up you thought that bike looked. And it was just kind of, whatever it is that you thought. And some people that ride bikes, are, we kind of call them headlight people. Where if the headlight ain't right, they ain't trying to buy the bike. They just don't like the way it looks. Some people don't like the way the Suzuki looks with the single track headlight in the center. Some people despise it. Some people like it. I mean, it's all in a matter of opinion. However, but I do think that them moving obviously to the LED headlights, it's definitely going to be brighter. It gives the nose is definitely a little bit shorter, and it gives the bike a little bit more of aerodynamics. I'm sure, nonetheless, with the hundreds of millions of dollars that BMW has spent, probably in the wind tunnel and the R&D, I'm sure they've done it for more than one reason besides just to bring LEDs, obviously, to the front face of the motorcycle. Moving on to something else that I wish the bike would have had from the beginning, but it didn't. Again, now that all the other bikes, and a bike that had it in 2015, the R1M, had a beautiful TFT display, like the Ducati. And now, obviously, it has it. Now, based on what we've seen, it is very nice, very decent size, pretty, and obviously very customizable. It's something that the bike needed to bring it up to a little bit of modern times, and of course, live up to the name, obviously, BMW, because it's supposed to be a luxury, well, we want to call it luxury crotch rocket, even though that's kind of like an oxymoron, because you get the heated grips and the cruise controls and in the dynamic suspension, so that you can ride soft like a Cadillac and then, crank it up hard when you want to go on the racetrack. Absolutely. So these are just features that, of course, and I'm sure all of these features that are currently on my bike, that are just nothing but better, obviously, on the new bike. And I would say those are probably the biggest highlights and such that is going to come out, obviously, without anybody really seeing the bike firsthand. So until you probably get your hands on it, or until you can actually sit on it, and I know a lot of spectators were able to sit on it at EICMA. I can't wait to go sit on it at a BMW dealer when it actually comes to a BMW dealer near me. And then it'll kind of be the deciding factor, but I kind of already went into it based off of what I have saw. It's probably maybe not enough maybe for me to currently upgrade, but if you're also maybe just got into like a new BMW, like maybe like a 17 or an 18, and you've kind of only made maybe a few months payments on it like that, and you only have to make maybe 4 or 5 more before the new one comes out, it's probably definitely a worthy upgrade for you to maybe, if you can, get out of that one and get into the new one, because you really didn't lose out on much, especially if the BMW, like the Easy Ride program, will really help you get out of it and get you into something new, which BMW Financial is really good at doing things like that and looking out for the customers, getting them into the latest and the greatest, absolutely. So, and something like that, you definitely may want to look into that for the individuals that obviously got into a bike recently. But the big question is it really gonna, swoop the trend, kind of like how you could say, as us S1000 owners, is it going to be the all-new greatest, again, sports bike to kind of roam the streets and be the best at what it does, even though we all know that it's not going to roll up necessarily like on an H2 and something like that, especially like a modded one, and smoke it or anything like that. No, it's not. It doesn't need to do that. But is it going to be the best all-around sport bike all over again and almost hold it, maybe even for almost another decade? Well, time will tell. The anticipation was great, and I think the delivery of that bike to me was just as exciting as the new V4R, even though I will not be purchasing the V4R, but it was just as exciting to see just the technology and the advancements on how the manufacturers are really, inching and fighting for every last bit of performance and putting it into each motorcycle and obviously delivering it to us and then we test it, and then we can critique it, and then they listen to it, and then make the next thing even better. So what a time to be alive, to say the least. So it's kind of just a little preview and just a quick little highlight wheel of, you know, let me know your thoughts. I mean, will you guys be getting one based on the comments of my other ones? A lot of people have already put their reservation down at BMW dealers. A couple friends that I know that work at dealers, they've had quite a few comments. They put me down for a name, so we'll see, you know, and I will definitely be taking my camera and you guys along with me to the BMW dealer when it comes out and it hits the stores by me, so we could take a peek at it, and maybe I may get one, maybe not. It might not do it for me, but let me know what you guys think. I really enjoy your opinions and you know, input on this, because I do read all of the comments and I try to respond to everybody, as you guys have seen. And I think that's going to wrap it up here for today's video. So again, if you guys like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe, smash the like if you liked it. It's Facebook, Instagram at The Speedbug, same name here as YouTube, and we'll check you here for another review on The Speedbug channel. Peace out.